What if I told you Thanksgiving didn't start as a celebration, and that some of the wildest parts of its history were completely erased from your textbooks? Stick around, because the true story of Thanksgiving is about to get weird. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel Infinite Facts. Today, we're carving into the most surprising truths about Thanksgiving. Some are dark, some are funny, and some are just completely mind-blowing. So, let's get started. First up, that famous Thanksgiving feast wasn't really a celebration, it was about survival. The first gathering in 1621 wasn't some pre-planned peaceful meal. It came right after a brutal winter filled with illness, starvation, and constant conflict. In fact, nearly half of the Plymouth colony didn't even make it through that first year. So when a decent harvest finally came in, they weren't starting a tradition. They were just celebrating the fact that they were still alive. And when you think about it that way, it changes the entire meaning of the holiday. Now, let's talk about the food. If you think Thanksgiving means turkey, you might want to sit down for this one. Historians believe the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people didn't even have turkey on the menu. Instead, their table was likely filled with things like venison, which is deer meat, plenty of corn, shellfish, like oysters and clams, and native berries. The turkey only became the star of the show about 200 years later, and the reason is pretty simple. It was a big, affordable bird that could feed a lot of people. It wasn't about tradition. It was just custom. Have you ever felt that post-dinner sleepiness and blamed the turkey? Well, you're only partly right. For years, everyone pointed the finger at tryptophan, an amino acid found in turkey. But scientists say that's not the whole story. The real reason you feel so sleepy is the combination of everything else you eat. We're talking about high-carb foods like mashed potatoes and stuffing, sugary desserts like pumpkin pie, and just the sheer volume of food you consume. All of that, mixed with a cozy, relaxed atmosphere, causes your body to release melatonin, the sleep hormone. So yes, your Thanksgiving dinner is literally engineered to make you want to take a nap. Here's a fact that might ruffle some feathers. Canada actually celebrated Thanksgiving first. Believe it or not, the Canadian tradition began all the way back in 1578. That is, more than 40 years before the Pilgrims even landed at Plymouth Rock. It started when an English explorer, Martin Frobisher, held a ceremony to give thanks for surviving a long and dangerous journey to North America. Once again, the original theme wasn't a harvest festival. It was pure, unadulterated survival. But what if I told you Thanksgiving used to look a lot like Halloween? I'm not kidding. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, Thanksgiving Day in some American cities was known as Ragamuffin Day. Kids and even some adults would dress up in masks and raggedy costumes, go door to door, and ask for treats like pennies or candy. It was basically a second Halloween, complete with parades of these ragamuffins. This quirky tradition eventually faded away, partly because teachers complained that kids were skipping school just to go trick-or-treating in November. And now for a bonus fact, that'll change how you see the day after Thanksgiving. The term Black Friday didn't originally have anything to do with sales or shopping. It was first used by Philadelphia police in the 1950s to describe the absolute chaos, traffic jams, and overcrowded sidewalks that occurred the day after Thanksgiving. It was a negative term, referring to the headache of managing the massive crowds. Retailers hated the name at first, but eventually embraced it and turned it into the biggest shopping day of the year. So it went from being about traffic disasters to being about doorbuster deals. So, after hearing all of that, which fact surprised you the most? Was it the turkey myth, the Halloween connection, or something else entirely? Let me know down in the comments. I love reading them, and I try to reply to everyone. Thanks for watching Infinite Facts. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden truths, don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with a friend, and subscribe for more facts you were never taught in school. See you in the next one.